tomorrow. Good evening, everyone. Let me tell you guys about myself 8 years ago. I was a schmuck. I did not protect myself online. Here's what I did. I used a bunch of websites. They'll ask you to fill in their email address, password. One of the websites, evernote.com, I don't know if anyone even remembers it, it got hacked. All the passwords were leaked. Now, I don't really have anything important in Evernote, so how does it matter, right? Here's the problem. I use the same password on multiple sites, and so once the hackers got my password for Evernote, they used it to access some other website which I don't even know about, they got my credit card info. Next thing you know, I was getting billed $100 for something that I did not even buy. I was a schmuck, and now I'm going to teach you what I learned so that you can learn to not be a schmuck, and hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. First, let's talk about passwords. There are all kinds of bad passwords out there. What do you think is the most popular password in the world?
Password.
Password. Followed closely by 1234, 12345, and all that stuff. Bad passwords. Now here are some less obvious bad passwords. Someone's gonna think, you know what, I'm never gonna use password, I'm too smart for that. Like, I support my local football team, Packers. I don't talk about it, no one knows about that. You're wrong. The hackers are gonna get this. This is one word, very simple. People will hack you with a password like this. Now someone is gonna think, okay, you know what, I'm gonna be smarter than that. I'm gonna replace the A with an X, I'm gonna replace the S with a $, I'm gonna put an exclamation mark at the end. This is still very obvious. You're not the first person to think about this. Lots of people have thought about this. People try to get one step smarter. They'll be like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna append the website name at the end. So it's gonna be like Packers with a Gmail at the end. You're not the first person to think about this either. Lots of people have thought about this. Combining the website name with your normal password to get this, you will be hacked. There's a lot of bad passwords out there. Now, what is a good password? This is a good password.
Yeah, I can't remember.
If you're looking for a pattern or something to help you remember, that's the whole point. There is no pattern to it. It's a combination of uppercase and lowercase letters, combination of letters and numbers, and there's about 12 of these. Completely random, impossible to remember. That's what makes it a good password. Now, you might be thinking that's a little bit too hard for me. I can't possibly remember that. So here is another good password. Now, this may not look like a good password. It's all lowercase, there's no special characters, no numbers, but here's the thing. You have 6 words randomly picked. Now, this is very important. It's not a phrase. There's no connection between them. There's no way for anyone to come up with this. Each word was individually picked randomly, and you got 6 of them, and that makes it very long, which makes it almost impossible for anyone to crack it. Even with a supercomputer, it's going to take them years, possibly decades, to crack this password. That's what makes this a good password. Now, the last thing, even if you have a good password, you can be hacked. And so, for that reason, it's always recommended to use 2-factor authentication. The most common one is text messaging. Like, for example, on Gmail, if you turn on the option for 2-factor authentication with text messaging, every time you want to log in, they'll SMS you a one-time code. You enter that code, and then you can log in. If you have a good password and 2-factor authentication, it's almost guaranteed that you will not be hacked. So, good password, 2FA, you're well on your way. Now, people think online security is not a sexy topic. I disagree. We're going to sex it up right now. Imagine if you have 50 sexual partners in the world. Okay? 50. Now imagine any one of them gets an STD. What do you think is going to happen? All 50 of you are going to get an STD. One person gets an STD, all 50 get an STD. Which brings me to the most important point in a good password. Even if you have a very strong password like what we talked about, the most important thing is what I like to call monogamy. You should only use your password once in one website. That's it. If you share the same password in multiple sites, which is exactly what I did, you will be hacked, because one of those websites, through no fault of your own, they will get hacked, and all of a sudden, just like the 50 sexual partners, everyone is now infected. If you want to be safe, you have to be monogamous. Now, let me re-summarize your options that you have. You can pick a password. If it's a good password, you can reuse the same password everywhere, and you are going to get infected, just like the STD example we looked at. The other option, you can come up with a unique, strong password for every single website, and you can memorize every single one of them. If you can do that, you're better than me. I cannot do it. You have photographic memory, you're Superman, I take my hats off to you. I'm a human being. I cannot do this. Which brings us to the last realistic option that any of us have, and this is what IT security experts all recommend, using a password manager. Now, this may seem like a very jargon, technical term. It's very simple. A password manager is just like a site where you have one password. It's the only password that you have to memorize, so you can come up with a strong password, you memorize it, make sure you got it down, and then every other password that you have, you store the password in here. And this way, because you're not having to memorize it, you can give unique, strong password for every single other website, because you don't have to remember it. You only have to remember this one password for the password manager itself. Now, you may be thinking, what if the password manager gets hacked? That's true. If your password manager gets hacked, then you're screwed over. But look on the bright side. Previously, with 50 websites, if any one of them got hacked, all your websites are hacked. Whereas now, with the password manager, if one of those 50 websites gets hacked, you're fine. The other websites are all fine. Your risk is severely lowered because you only have one point of failure, not 50 different points of failures. This is why IT security experts use password managers. Now, let me show you what password manager looks like, just so you don't feel intimidated, you know exactly what to do. I personally use a password manager called LastPass. If you want to use something different, you can do it. Installing it is very simple. You use your browser, probably Chrome, Firefox, whatever your browser is. Go to your browser's extension store, and from there just search for LastPass or whatever the password manager you want to use this. And the result, at the very first result, you're going to see this. You're going to have an option for add to Chrome. In my case, I already had it, so you just add to Chrome, and boom, that's it. You have the password manager installed. Now, once you have it installed, you can just go through the usual prompts of creating an account, you create a password, you enable two-factor authentication, all the stuff that you do on every other website. Now, here's the cool thing. Once you have it installed, it's going to show up on the top right of your browser every single time, all the time. And whenever you want to create a new user account, there's going to be a button that says Generate Secure Password. And this is what it looks like. You can just refresh it. If you don't like it, you can copy it. You can decide how long you want it to be. This is randomly generated for you. It's very strong. And once you have it, once you have the password, all you have to do is store in the password manager, and to use it, you're going to have this button at every login box. You just click on it, and you're going to have a login option here. You click on it, and boom, it fills in the password for you. It's very easy to access. You don't have to memorize any of this. You're only putting yourself through one point of failure, one password that you have to remember, and now you have 50 monogamous strong passwords. This is the best way to protect yourself. I was a schmuck. There's lots of schmucks out there. That's fine. The important thing is to learn so you can protect yourself in the future. Thank you.